Good.
Okay, well, welcome to Homeschooling for College Credit, everybody. Excuse me, I have a little cough here. We are a national nonprofit organization and we empower homeschool families. We teach resourceful high school planning. Families in our organization learn how to earn college credit, reduce their costs, and basically make strategic choices about college after high school. I'm Jennifer Cook DeRosa. I'm the executive director, and I am your co-host for today's webinar. During today's presentation, you'll see that we have a Q&A feature turned on. You won't be able to ask questions on microphone, but please feel free to type your questions right into the Q&A box, and we will get to those questions, as many of them as we can, before the end of our session today. So with me today is Chad Haney. Chad is the Assistant Director for the University of Alabama's Early College Program. In May of this year, the university announced a major cut to their dual enrollment program, setting the cost to just $33 per credit for high school students starting this fall. At $33 a credit, this put the University of Alabama as the lowest tuition among national colleges and universities that are offering enrollment to out-of-state students. So it's my pleasure to help Homeschooling for College Credit families learn more about this affordable and wonderful program. So with that, I will turn it over to Chad. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. It's good to be with you all. Uh, just as Jennifer was going over, we're very excited about our newly reduced tuition rate of $33 per credit hour. That's for both in-state and out-of-state students across the United States. We only serve students in the U.S. Or students who are stationed overseas with active duty military on a U.S. base overseas. But other than that, it's just in the United States. Just to give a brief overview of our program, we provide dual enrollment and dual credit, and I'll go over uh, what we consider the differences in those two in just a second. Uh, to high school students who have completed the ninth grade and have at least a 3.0 GPA. Um, we'll talk through eligibility in just a moment as well. But we start with a gateway course that's a college readiness course, and then open up to over 100 plus course options for students. Really, any course at UA essentially that can be taken completely online is available to our early college students. And provides a lot of opportunities. And um, we like to think of ourselves as the leader in this space because of what we put into our student support. So we have a staff of 5 dedicated academic advisors. They only work in early college. They only work with high school students. We have 3 full-time student success coaches. They are all former educators. So when a student reaches an 80 in one of our classes, a student success coach is going to reach out to them and uh, see what's going on, what can improve. If a student happens to reach a 70 in a course, student success coach is going to reach out and set up a mandatory action plan for that student to make sure we get them on track. And that leads to a 3.7 GPA for our students in the early college program. It's actually talking to our assistant director over student success. We have a program called Summer on Campus, which we'll talk about at the very end of this presentation. And for the first term of Summer on Campus this summer, our students had a 4.03 GPA. So it really just highlights how important that individualized attention is for us and what we pour into student success, which you really don't see from most dual enrollment programs. So I'll just hop into this presentation. First thing I mentioned was uh, what we refer to as dual credit and dual enrollment. So we see those as uh, kind of two separate but intertwined areas. You hear a lot of different terms thrown out in this space. Dual enrollment's really the most popular one overall and kind of the most common, but some states refer to it as concurrent enrollment. And some other things as well. But we call dual credit any class that gives credit towards both a high school diploma as well as a college degree. And then dual enrollment are just classes that students are taking toward while they're in high school that just go towards their college degree. It's not going towards a high school requirement. So those are two separate areas. That really plays more into students who are in uh, public school or private school, not as much for homeschool. But if you're, using an umbrella homeschool that has some stricter transcript requirements, that could still come into play for you. So we have dual credit agreements with over 400 high schools in the state of Alabama and several outside the state of Alabama as well. We are growing a lot more outside of Alabama in those dual credit agreements. I had one that we've just signed recently with a school in Detroit, as I was up in Michigan recruiting earlier this spring, or in the process of signing one, actually an umbrella uh, homeschool program in Colorado. So we are happy to set those up with your umbrella school if that's needed. Uh, and that's a really simple process. It's all done via DocuSign and can be done really within a week. So just wanted to hit on those two terms there at the top in case anyone has any questions about that, and happy to answer any specific questions that anyone has related to dual credit versus dual enrollment. So, like I said, our program eligibility to be eligible for early college, a student must have completed the ninth grade and have at least a 3.0 GPA on a 4.0 scale. We do, once in a blue moon, get a student who is ready to start early college before the ninth grade. It's a high threshold to meet for us to do that. So they would have had to have taken some very advanced classes. Uh, Already. I have a student just this past week, actually, who's already completed, I think 12 or 13 credit hours with another uh, state university somewhere else. Uh, so they're not quite ninth grade yet, but because they had completed that and have been very successful, we are moving forward with that student. So there are some exceptions to these, of course, but that's extremely rare when we grant an exception to that. So complete the ninth grade and have at least a 3.0 GPA on a 4.0 scale. There's no standardized test requirement or anything else. It's really kind of that simple. So I talked about we have a gateway course to our program. That's what we call UAEC 200. It's a college readiness course. It's designed to prepare students for the college experience by teaching them the fundamental skills needed for academic success. So a student is going to learn how to navigate Blackboard, which is our online learning system at UA and that many other colleges and universities use. Going to learn how to communicate with their professors and classmates online, time management, study skills, learn how to write a college level paper, learn how to utilize research capabilities with the UA library system online, which is something they'll have access to uh, throughout their entire time as an early college student. So once you apply, which we'll walk through the application process a little later, but once a student is applied and been admitted, they're automatically enrolled into UAEC 200. We have several different start dates, which we'll discuss that a little later in the presentation as well. But you'll actually choose your start date when you apply. So uh, that UAEC 200 course is all online. The first night of it is uh, I shouldn't say the first night. You gain access to it about a week before what we call the live session. So the live session is a mandatory session that is online in the evening. It's on a Tuesday night. Uh, so both you and your student are required to be to attend that live session virtually. Uh, so there's a session for just the student and their professor, and then that lasts about 45 minutes. And then right after that, there's a session for both the parent and the student to attend together. That kind of gives a broad program overview of UA Early College. So uh, after that, it's about 5 additional weeks that is asynchronous. So the student's completing it at their own pace. So after UAEC 200, I should say really during as part of UAEC 200, the student will meet with an academic advisor and they'll talk through the next steps. They'll talk with their advisor about what they want to do in college. So the advisor kind of has an idea of what courses are going to be beneficial for the student. And if there is a dual credit agreement, making sure that those courses align with the crosswalk for their given school and making sure that that class is also going towards their high school graduation requirements. So, 100 plus course options. Those typically include things like freshman composition, social and behavioral sciences, computer science, history, world languages, and humanities, and much more. So, there's really a ton of different opportunities available to students there. Just a quick overview by the numbers. These are our current enrollment for early college is 3,230. Those students have earned over 12,000 credit hours with us. They come from over 43 different states, all across the country. Like I said, 100 plus course options after you finish UAEC 200. And then our program UA GPA for all those students is a 3.7, really just highlighting that academic success. So these are the numbers from this past term that we had in spring, a 3.7 GPA with over 7,700 credit hours and over 2,700 courses taken by our students. And then 66% of our students made the director's list this past fall, which part of if you choose to partake in early college, you'll learn about what our director's list is. And how that's published every year. Uh, so I talked a little bit earlier about our student success faculty and staff here. Uh, you can see some of our staff there. We actually have three student success coaches. Our newest just was hired the other day, or I should say the other week. We just got his headshot, so this slide hasn't been updated yet. But three full-time student success coaches, five full-time academic advisors. We have peer mentors as well. So those peer mentors are current UA students who are early college students themselves. So they've been through the program. We're very successful in it. And sometimes students prefer to talk to another student who can is maybe a little more closely aligned with them in terms of age and experience than they will our staff. So those peer mentors have been very successful for us in helping students as well. And then you see some of our student-centered faculty. So uh, every early college course is taught by University of Alabama faculty. Uh, that includes some faculty who are specific to early college, such as everyone you see there under Student Center faculty. Those are our UAEC 200 professors. They teach that first gateway course. But then we also have some of the more common classes that we see. There's psychology, a few history courses, a few English courses that we have so much demand through early college that we employ faculty for that. And then outside of that, uh, there are classes that your student could be taking that it's just typical UA faculty from the College of Business or the College of Engineering. Uh, so they're getting the exact same faculty that students on campus here in Tuscaloosa are getting. So we talked a little bit about our support, but students get access to a lot of great resources here during their time in early college. And it's not just for early college courses. Once they become an early college student, after they complete UAEC 200, they have access to all of these resources as long as they're in our program. That includes the UA Writing Center, which isn't going to write a paper for a student, but it's going to teach students, uh, or I should say, help students through the writing process. So kind of from the first to the last step, they'll help them through. A lot of professors will actually give students extra credit for having used the Writing Center. So that's a great resource there. University Library System have five locations here on campus, but a lot of great resources for students online through the UA Library System. The Capstone Center for Student Success offers tutoring and academic success workshops on top of the student success coaches that we have here in early college. So they have free tutoring for a lot of classes that commonly need tutoring, a lot of math classes uh, and some sciences. So a lot of great opportunities there for additional help outside of what you would normally see. And then the UA Career Center also partners with us to help students discover career possibilities. We have one of the best career centers in the country. And then also have a very close relationship with our alumni association. The University of Alabama has one of the top 10 alumni associations in the country. There's a lot of pride uh, behind the Alabama name. And so those are all things that you help get access to by being involved with early college. There are additional benefits for students. We consider ourselves to be a great program for students, regardless of where they're going to go to college. But there are many added benefits for students who end up becoming an undergraduate student with us here at the University of Alabama. These are just a few of those. Uh, Students who complete 11 credit hours with early college, and all of these include UAEC 200, which is 2 credit hours itself. When they complete UAEC 200, they get 2 credit hours. So uh, 2 plus 9 would get you to 11, obviously. So 3 standard classes after UAEC 200. If you have at least a 2.75 UA GPA, you have a special admissions pathway into undergraduate admissions. You don't have to submit SAT or ACT score. So as long as you have a 2.75 UA GPA and a 3.0 high school GPA, then you have we for accreditation purposes, can't call it an automatic admission, but it's essentially automatic as long as there's no disciplinary uh, record, anything like that. Then there's essentially automatic admission for those students. There's also a priority admission pathway into the UA Honors College. If a student completes 11 credit hours and has at least a 3.5 UA GPA, then they have admission into Honors College without having to go through additional steps of writing papers and submitting a standardized test score there. At 14 credit hours and a 3.0 UA GPA, student will receive a UAEC honor cord once they graduate. So we have a ceremony on campus here that they can come to, but if they can't come on campus, then we'll send their honor cord to them. And if their graduation allows it, then they can walk with that cord at their high school graduation ceremony. And then we also have a UAEC Honor Society that they can get access to as well. Then at 17 credit hours with at least a 2.5 UA GPA, students receive priority housing, which is a big deal for our incoming freshmen. Have award-winning housing here at the University of Alabama, and some of those dorms fill up quicker than others. So that's a big one for our students. Priority course registration by every credit hour that they earn through early college. They're counted the same as if they were earned here on main campus their freshman year. So class registration happens every semester based off of the amount of credit hours that you have. So they're getting a leg up seniority wise on the rest of their peers because they've completed all of these hours as UA early college students. And then, as you might know, athletics are a big deal to us here at the University of Alabama. Same thing with course registration. You'll have a leg up in selecting those football season ticket packages if your student ends up coming here to Tuscaloosa, which we'd love to have them here. Uh, One last thing to point out, there is consideration. We do have a competitive alumni Ivory Tusk scholarship. Uh, that is $2,000 for freshman year that they would be eligible towards. And then any in-state students, anyone who is an Alabama resident, we have some additional scholarships that we're about to announce. That will be freshman year, and those will be automatic scholarships. But unfortunately, those are only for students in the state of Alabama. Those will be $1,500 for students who complete 17 credit hours with early college and have at least a 2.75 UA GPA, or $3,000 if they've completed 24 credit hours with UA early college with at least a 2.75 UA GPA. And we're very excited about those as well. So the lead that got buried here a little bit, as we talked about at the start, but our tuition is $33 per credit hour. It is for both in-state and out-of-state students. That begins fall 2025. And also UAEC 200, which I mentioned earlier, that class is completely free of charge. So you don't even pay until you get into your second class with us. So, typical class with us is 3 credit hours. So that's $99. And then there obviously are some sciences, some foreign languages that are 4 credit hours, so a little bit more. But most of those classes are going to be $99 per class. So there are several different start dates that we have for our program. So you have to start with UAEC 200. Our next available UAEC 200 course is that course starts on August 19th, and the application deadline for that is August 12th. And all of these application deadlines have to have the application submitted and have to have the transcript received by that date, or by the end of the day on that date, I should say. So, as long as your student applies by August 12th and has their transcript to us, uh, then they would be able to start that class on August 19th. The live session would be the following Tuesday, August 26th. And that's when you would join in that evening from 6:30 to 8:30. Your student would be on from 6:30 to 7:30. You and your student would be on from 7:30 to 8:30. All those times are central, by the way. We're central daylight time right now and then central standard time uh, for our few in the winter that you don't see on here. But we have 4 different dates in the fall and then 4 different dates in the spring. And we've had a few people ask. Uh, I know that there were some people that had gotten news of our program and the tuition reduction kind of right before our summer application deadline and didn't get a chance to get everything in. So a student can technically start that August 19th UAEC 200 and still participate in fall two classes. So fall two is like a mini semester, and there's limited availability on what classes are offered there, but they can still get some classes completed this fall outside of UAEC 200. Uh, but if they want to do that, the August session is the only session that they could do it in, and they would need to tell their professor, their UAEC 200 professor up front that they want to try to take fall two classes because they'll need to work ahead a little bit. Their professor will need to work with them on some of that stuff and release some modules a little early. As I said, next application deadline, August 12th. Need to have their transcript in by August 12th, along with the application, just by the end of the day. And then the last thing I want to talk to you all about is summer on campus. So we have a one-of-a-kind program here with UA Early College that we call Summer on Campus. As the title suggests, it's your students spending 1 or 2 months with us on campus here in Tuscaloosa. They're really getting a preview of what college life is like at a large four-year university. So, especially for homeschool students that may not know if a large public four-year is going to be right for them because it's could be an adjustment for college. This is a great way uh, to find out what college life is like at a large public university without having to spend a full freshman year doing this. And summer on campus can be completed the summer between high school and college. So even rising seniors can still take part in this program this coming summer in 2026. So, how that program works, again, they live on campus in our award-winning uh, residence halls here at UA. Uh, we have staff that is with them 24 hours in the dorms. We have graduate assistants who are on hand, essentially kind of similar to residence advisors, but a little more active than a typical RA would be. But students will take 2 classes with us here on campus. Uh, they'll have access to student success coaches every week. There are mandatory study halls as part of that program. Access to our student recreation center. For the 4th of July, they'll go down to the river here in Tuscaloosa, the Black Warrior River, and watch fireworks shut off at the Mercedes-Benz Amphitheater. So our students just got to do that uh, this past week. Uh, Really just an incredible program. That application, it does have a separate application process. So you can see the dates here. I believe these are the dates for next year, but if not, they're just a day or two off either way. Uh, we do have a cap for the amount of students we have in, so it is a little more of a competitive process for who gets into summer on campus. Uh, but if your student is getting involved this fall, then they'll be eligible, and we'll get email communication on when that summer on campus application opens up. Will either be January or February of 2026. And that is all I have. So I'm happy to answer some questions.
Oh, we got lots of questions.
All right.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much. We have a lot of questions surrounding the application process with the transcript and verifying the grade point average. Can you just kind of expand a little bit as far as what you're looking for on a homeschool transcript? And are the families able to use weighted or unweighted grade point averages? Does you have
Yes.
a preference? If you could just kind of touch on that.
So we follow UA undergraduate admissions, same policy of UA undergraduate admissions takes the highest GPA of either weighted or unweighted. We do the exact same thing. Obviously, vast majority of time that's going to be weighted. There are some, minor circumstances where an unweighted GPA can end up being a little higher. We honor the highest one either way. So uh, with homeschool transcripts, making sure that the grade and the year is clearly identified. Using those templates. I think you have a template on your website.
Yep.
So
Yep.
using one of those standard transcript uh, templates to send to us and verifying those grades, that works. Uh, but for completing that freshman year, need to make sure that those core courses are represented. The uh, math, science, social studies, uh, and science. Make sure that those are represented in there because we're not going to consider a freshman year complete until all of those are seen in there.
Can you elaborate on that? Because most of the people listening and most of the states do not have a specific curriculum mandated. And so, exactly, can you tell us exactly what those credits are that they need in order for you guys to consider freshman year complete?
Yeah, and there's not specific classes that we need to see, but just in a general sense, what is being done in terms of math, science, social studies. Uh, am I forgetting my mind?
English, science.
English. Sorry, there we go.
Yeah, and
English was not
science.
my strong subject
No,
in
that's
school,
okay.
so that's probably why I'm wanting to forget it. So, uh,
So like one high school credit in English, one high school credit in
or
math, one high school credit in a social studies or history, and then one high school credit in a science. Is that
yes,
pretty accurate? Okay.
yes, yeah, that
All
would
right.
be right. And then, typically you're going to have some kind of electives in there too,
Mhm.
and that's factored into the GPA. But uh, need to see those core subjects
Very
represented.
good. And I will tell the people that are just on this call, we do have normal transcript classes and things like that. But just for this group, because we have the August deadline approaching, I am going to send out an email over the weekend. It will have this recording for today and it will have information on how to prepare your transcript if you need assistance doing that so that you can meet the deadline. And that is not something that we're announcing to the whole organization, but it'll be specific to prioritize this group. Okay, we had lots of questions surrounding if there's any way to waive the UAEC 200.
There is not. We require it for all of our students, even if a student has taken, and we have a lot of students who take other classes. And the reason for that is because we have a specific grading system for UAEC 200, and that dictates a student has to pass. It is a pass-fail course. Uh, so as the passing grade is 700, a 750 is required to uh, for certain things in early college, and the academic advisor is going to work with the student on scheduling their next course. Uh, and we want to make sure students are successful in their courses. And so the reason this policy was set up was seeing students go into courses that they weren't ready for. And so UAEC 200 is uh, a good indicator for us of what a student is going to be ready to take. So if their writing score uh, is not great, then that may dictate what English classes that that we're going to allow them to take out of the gate. And there's some other instances of that as well. So it cannot be waived. They do have to take that.
Okay. And I'm not, I, forgive me, I don't really understand the question very well, but does this program work with 504s?
Oh,
I'm not familiar
yeah,
with.
I would need a little more information. I'm not familiar
Okay.
with either.
So if you are in the chat and you ask that question, if you could elaborate on your question, we will be happy to try and get that. And then we had a question on, are there any ACT or SAT requirements for the dual enrollment program?
There are not any ACT or SAT requirements. It's just 3.0 GPA on a 4.0 scale and having completed ninth grade.
And then also we know about the first Tuesday night session that the students have to be there. They have to be, that's a synchronous situation, but are the rest of the sessions for that first class and then also for the regular online classes, are those asynchronous? Can student,
Yes, everything else is asynchronous.
okay,
And that's typically going to be the only time, probably in the program, that there would be something synchronous. Uh, everything else with the online classes is going to be asynchronous. So that's kind of the one time. But we just see that because uh, having the parent or guardian involved, we've found a lot of success there. And also just having the attention and kind of getting at least a little glimpse into what a real college course is going to be like and meeting with a professor in real time. We've seen a lot of value in that.
yes. We've had some questions here about the selection of the courses that are going to be available. Is the list of courses going to be available on the website?
So we do have a list of typical courses on our website that you can find at earlycollege.ua.edu. And you can see typical course options there. But again, those typical course options, it's a little under 100. There's we're probably well over 200 classes total that are real options. Really just depending on what your student is interested in, but really uh, at least any 100 or 200 level course at the university that's offered online, early college students have access to.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of parents that are going to ask or push the limit on this. So I'll ask it for them
Yeah.
because we will have people that come to you that already have college credit,
Mhm.
like the family that would have enrolled already. I know when we put the first announcement out, it was like the day that they had to sign up to get in,
Yeah.
on that first class. But we do have lots of families that already have college credit. So looking ahead, are there limits on the number of credits that students can earn? That would be part one. And then part two, are there ever opportunities to take courses above the 200 level, like at the 300 or the 400 level as a dual enrollment student?
There's some special circumstances where that can happen. Just to answer that one first, as far as uh, getting something over the 100 or 200 level, the student will work with their academic advisor. Uh, any classes that have been taken at another program, another college or university, your student can go ahead and send their transcript to UA, and our registrar's office will put that into their degree works program, which is what UA uses to track degree progress for undergraduates. And the positive about doing that is they'll be able to see uh, how those courses would count towards a degree at UA. And it will also give the advisor a good idea of if a certain class is going to be a positive for them to take, or if they're just kind of repeating something. So we don't want to waste anyone's time or money there. The advisors, that's a little bit out of my world, but the advisors will be able to work with them on that. They do a phenomenal job. Uh, I'm sorry, am I forgetting part of your
No,
question?
that was good. But for clarity and just the sequencing of it, they should they should send their prior dual enrollment credit before or after they've already completed the UAEC 200.
They can do it at any time, but I would go ahead and send it to us.
Okay. And there was a question. I'm just trying to hit all of them, you guys. I'm sorry, there's so many of them here.
And I
There's
have
a
plenty of time.
question about self-paced courses. Are any of the courses self-paced or are they all on a calendar?
That's a good question. It, I think, really just depends on the course, because that is up to the professor of, with UAEC 200, it's an asynchronous course, but uh, the modules in there have some time limits because the professors want those completed at certain times, and students can work ahead, but they have to work ahead in order. Um, so it really just depends on the course, and how the professor has that course set up. Uh, I think the majority of them, and that I'm safe in saying, it's really up to the student. They can work ahead as much as they want to, uh, but ultimately that is up to the professor on how they structure their course.
And do you have anything that you can share as far as like what would be maybe kind of a typical structure for how a course is set up? Like maybe how many weeks it is, and what is a typical kind of expectation? Are there quizzes? Are they proctored exams? Are there things kind of in that realm? Should the students expect to be purchasing a textbook? Just anything that you could kind of share in a general way would be helpful.
Sure. So, for your typical class, is going to follow fall, spring semester is going to follow the university's academic calendar. So you can Google UA academic calendar. It'll be the first link that pops up. Uh, so that'll give you a better idea of how long a class is. Uh, for books and fees, uh, we have the 99 or $33 per credit hour. There are fees that can apply to a course. Those are given out by the college. So we don't have any fees for UAC 200. That's our early college class. But uh, the Culver House College of Business, they have uh, a college fee that's specific to their courses that goes to them. The College of Engineering has a fee for their classes, so computer science class is going to have that. Not all of the colleges charge a fee for theirs. Uh, and then books are just going to vary. We see more and more these days that some professors don't even require. They'll have everything packaged up in their online course, but there are certainly courses that are going to require uh, a textbook for their course. But also the good thing is there's a lot more options these days for how you go about acquiring those textbooks than there used to be.
And then are there any live lectures that are part of the courses where the professor might record a lecture and then the student watches it on their own, or is it a different format than that?
No, there could definitely be that in some of these online courses. Yes, there would never be one where they have to be on at a certain time, but there could certainly be some recorded lectures.
Lots of you guys are asking questions about synchronous and asynchronous. So, just for clarity there, your first class, there is that one class where you do have to be there on time, live, and on camera. And then the rest of the time, that would not be the case, right? Am I saying that correctly?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, great. Um, Let me see here. So many questions about like limits and maximums. I don't know if I asked that before, but let me ask it again if I did. Are there a maximum number of courses or credits that a student could
Yeah,
enroll in a semester?
yeah, that was one part that I forgot to
Okay.
answer earlier. So that's a great question. At the University of Alabama, we allow students to bring in up to 60 credit hours of dual enrollment, advanced placement, uh, any kind of credit by examination, or dual enrollment class. You can bring up to 60 hours. So with early college, we allow students to take up to 60 credit hours, which, is essentially coming into college as a junior. So it's a very generous, but uh, that is our cap on the program is 60.
And then to kind of pair with that question, um, are all of the degree programs bachelor's programs, or are there any associate degree programs as well?
UA does not offer any associate's degrees. It's all bachelor's.
Okay, very good. We have a follow-up here that a 504 plan is a plan for students who have a diagnosis that requires accommodations, example, ADHD or dyslexia.
Yes, so that's a great question. So early college students have access to the ODS, or Office of Disability Services. And so every semester, a student would go virtually, just communicate with the Office of Disability Services. And ODS will set up accommodations for the student in that class. But yes, we absolutely uh, do that. And 504 sounds familiar now that I hear that. But yes.
And then we had a couple questions that were kind of circling back to the the dual credit versus the dual enrollment, the clarification on hybrid schools, co-ops, umbrella schools, and things like that. I just want to give everybody kind of a general answer on that, and then they can talk to you specifically on a case by case basis. But if you are a legal home school in the United States and you are the one that is issuing the diploma for your student, then you are the one who will create that transcript and you're the one that will take care of the enrollment. Now, if you are participating in a school that is a private school or that is some form of online school that's going to be issuing the diploma for your student, the transcript, then you have to seek out their advice as to whether or not these courses would count for high school credit. But as the homeschool, as an actual homeschool parent, you decide whether or not these are going to be worth high school credit. So the recognizing that there's different laws in all 50 states that can split hairs and get nuanced. And so I would just say if you have questions about the application process and your classification, to direct that to you, Chad, right? Like you guys can
Yeah,
talk to them
absolutely.
specifically.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What learning management system do they use in the classes? Is it Canvas or something else?
We use Blackboard.
Blackboard. There we go. Okay. A parent is asking if the class lists include access to preview a syllabus prior to registering.
Typically, they do not. So there's a way you can see an expanded explanation of the course, but that typically does not include a syllabus.
Okay, and let's see, it said for clarity, there are no synchronous classes. I believe that is correct, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
Now, I should say, if you do summer on campus, uh, here at UA, if you happen to be in the West Alabama area, our students can take on campus classes. So there's, exceptions to that, obviously, if they're taking an on-campus course. But uh, if they're just a traditional online class, then no, that would be asynchronous.
great. And then could you talk a little bit more about the application process, like the fee and
Yeah.
anything else there as far as that goes?
Yeah. So we do have a $40 application fee. We also have, if that $40 is a financial barrier, we don't want it to be a barrier for anyone. So if that $40 application fee is a financial barrier for you, there is a counselor waiver uh, on the form. And so as a as a homeschool family, if you feel that you fall into that, select the counselor waiver and just put the parent's name and email address where it's asking for high school counselor uh, in the application. And then it's going to send you a form after the application is submitted and will ask if your student qualifies um, for a fee waiver. And then you just select yes and click uh, submit, and that will qualify as their fee waiver there.
And to backtrack a tiny bit, we have some parents that are more interested in learning about the summer program.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the costs of the summer program? And so for families, this would not be this summer. This is not
Yes.
2025. We're talking about the summer for 2026. So we might not have exact numbers
Yeah,
for,
I apologize. I don't have that in a slide, but I can do some basic.
but yeah, we'll just generalize for us would be helpful.
So let's just say for 1 month, I'm going to pull up my calculator, make sure I do all this correctly. Uh, for 1 month, you're taking two classes. Uh, so that would be 100, essentially $200 in tuition. Housing is $950 for that. Typical course fees would be about $250. Uh, Books, and all of these are generally kind of inflated estimations because we'd rather give high numbers out than uh, and conservative numbers, and it ends up being higher. Uh, but they have 250 allotted for books for summer on campus for a term. Students get uh, dining dollars. It's part of our uh, dining options at UA. So it puts money on their action card for them to be able to eat at the Chick-fil-A in the student center or Wendy's or whatever that may be. And so you add all that up, and so for one term, you're looking at right about $1,750 for one term of summer on campus, which you could do June or July, or you can do both. We do have some students who choose to spend both months of the summer with us.
Okay. I am trying to clear duplicates here, you guys. Have a little patience with me here. There's lots. There's over 100 questions in here. So, okay, let's see here. To reiterate, because this is coming up again, to take classes for fall. Maybe we can go back to that slide, Chad. There's still a little tiny bit of confusion about the deadlines
Yes.
for the applications for fall.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned a special, like it was a special thing, you guys, like it's not guaranteed for fall too, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And let me see if I can pull up. Uh, well, I may not be able to. I can't get an internet window open right now. Um, but fall two is going to be uh, starts in, I believe, mid-September, mid to late September, somewhere in there. So has to be completed. A lot of the UAEC 200 stuff has to be completed earlier on. It kind of the timeline has to be moved up. So if your student is interested in taking fall two classes, which again, it's a limited availability, but there are a handful of classes that they could possibly take in fall two. Uh, then they have to apply by August 12th. That's application and transcript submitted to us by August 12th. Then the course would open up on August 19th. And then the live session for that class when you have to be on your computer uh, for that synchronous session is on August 26th. And
And
then you can
did
see
you say
these
how long
dates.
that was? I'm sorry. Did you say how long is the UAEC 200 course? How many weeks?
It's 6 weeks total.
Okay. And
Yeah,
that is not the same length as the regular semester, fall
correct.
one, fall two. Those
Yeah.
are 8. Is that right?
So fall two, I want to say is 10,
Okay.
but you could definitely see it on the academic calendar. I just don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure we have everybody's clear about that. So August 12th is the only one that you can do now if you want to get into the fall.
Yeah. Otherwise, you
Right?
would start
Otherwise,
in the spring.
it's starting in the spring. All right. Which is fine, you guys. Everybody's in a hurry.
Yeah, really. And I'd really only advise that if you have a rising senior this year, and they're wanting to take more advantage. If they're not a senior, I would honestly not worry about doing that.
And we have a couple questions regarding age, both on the low end and on the high end. Of course, homeschool parents have children of all different ages, and sometimes the grade is not typical that they're
Yeah.
in. They may be a little younger as a 10th grader or a little older as a 12th grader. Are there any age limit restrictions for the
The
program?
only the only age limitation we have is for summer on campus. We do require a student to be 16 years old at the move-in date for them for that summer term. Other than that, there's not. So, like I said earlier, our typical eligibility requirement is completed the ninth grade. We do have some students we had a middle school student this past year who they had taken all of the advanced placement math courses available, uh, which was mind-blowing to me having done that by seventh grade. But they had done it and
Yeah.
were looking for additional options, so they came to us. So we had it was either, can't remember if they were in seventh grade last year or if they had just finished seventh grade, but we had a middle school student with us this past year, but it's only in those rare circumstances that, you know, it's quite obvious that that student is ready for college level work. So if it's just a want, we want our student to start, their ninth grade year. That would not be an exception that's made. But if you just have a tremendously overachieving student that is, just kind of especially gifted at a younger age, then those are the kind of situations that we do look at and make exceptions for on a case by case basis.
And kind of in that same context, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but typically in an early college or in a dual enrollment situation, the courses are not going to be um, modified to accommodate younger students. So be aware that there are going to be, subjects and topics and things like that that are intended for college students, and they're going to be adult topics. They may be topics that are political, that are religious, that are different than your own perspective or your own views. And so can you speak to that as far as how that should be thought of for the parents when they're assessing their students' maturity before they enroll?
Yeah, Jennifer, that was just really very well said. I don't know if I could say it much better than you did right there, but would definitely advise you just to consider that and make sure that you know your student even better than we do, but to make sure that they're going to be ready for that. Um, Thankfully, I think our professors do a pretty good job at UA. We're not usually in the news for anything too outlandish, so. Uh, I don't think there's too much to worry about, but there certainly is when students are, and uh, there are a lot of classes that our students take that they're taking with uh, other university age students, students who are in college right now. So there are certainly times there where, in a class that they could be, in group discussions or stuff like that, where, they're interacting and depending on the course subject, could be some things where you might not want a younger student in that situation. But
Yeah.
uh,
And if I could just encourage parents, I want you to think about some of these courses are designed to be provocative so that it stretches your students' perspective on the world. And so one thing that, and I've written about this sometimes, is that if you have a student who could take a subject and argue both sides of the coin, that's usually kind of a good indicator that they understand the difference between, um, you know, uh, different perspectives and being able to kind of sort that into buckets, if you will, right? If they can see a topic that they're having to learn about, or if they have to take an opposing viewpoint, if they're mature enough to be able to do that, then that's usually a good indicator that they have the maturity to handle those kinds of subjects. I know I had to do that in college. I was assigned to write the opposing side viewpoint of a subject that I completely disagreed with, and it was a really good exercise. But
yes,
that's harder for younger students. Of course, they have less time on the planet than us.
yeah,
This is, I mean, we want everyone to get the most out of the program. And I think that the slide that you showed about all of the benefits, and especially the scholarships and the guaranteed admission, the honor cord, which I love because we do an honor cord too.
yeah.
All of these things are really strong reasons to stay and complete your degree. I just want to say to parents, one of the things that is special here that not a lot of other colleges and universities are offering is the access to the advisor. So right at the beginning of Chad's presentation, he mentioned that after you complete UAEC 200, you meet with an advisor. This is something that programs are missing across the country. This is something that is going to be really, really helpful because we don't want parents just having random acts of college credit. Like, you want your college credit to ultimately be useful. And of course, explore. Yes, of course, take classes that are interesting and that you're curious about, and whether or not they count isn't the most important thing in the beginning. But as your student starts to accumulate more college credit, let's say they get past, that 9 or 11 or 15 or, certainly past 30, they really do need a target. And having access to an advisor as a high school student where you can target those classes, I don't know if they're going to hit that 60 max that they're allowed to hit, but having an advisor that's going to work with you guys, this is such a good benefit, because that is very hard to do as a high school student, because you're not yet enrolled degree seeking. typically you don't get access to advisors. So I just wanted to underscore that because that's such a huge benefit.
Yeah, it really is. We have a very gifted staff and they do a great job. And the few other programs that do offer advisors, some of the other programs that offer advising, it's the same advising that other college students get. So they're not dedicated towards high school students. So that's another thing that, uh, in my opinion, is a great part of our program is that ours only work with high school students who are just in this line of preparing to go to college.
Yeah. And I know we're almost out of time. I know there's a lot of questions that are still in here. So as we wrap up, I have one more final question for you, and then I'll let you close with how parents can sign up. The last question that I have is regarding the courses as they appear on a transcript from the university directly. Will those courses be tagged in some way as early college, or will they just be reported as regular university courses in the event that they want to attend college somewhere else?
Yeah, they'll just, well, I should say in some scenarios where I'm trying to think if it's possible for the actual section, if that would be included on the transcript. I don't think so. So I wouldn't say overall that you'd be able to distinguish that it was an early college course. Now, obviously, a college would be able to put together that,
Right.
you know, based on when those courses were taken, that they were taken through the early college program. But there's no, uh,
It's not a different section
it
is
is
I
not a
guess what I'm
different,
trying to lead you into,
yeah,
right?
it's not a
So
different course.
yeah.
There are some classes that we do have early college specific sections for just because we have the demand there. And
Mhm.
it's just like, it's really more of a university accounting thing than it is. It's not an academic thing. The classes are still the same. It's just a matter of we're having to pay for all of those students that are in that course. So uh, we control the seats to that course. It's
Perfect.
more of a institutional
Perfect.
deal.
Well, okay, so this has been amazing. I'm so glad we recorded it because I know that the people who couldn't attend today are going to kick themselves for having missed it. But I just wanted to remind you guys, if you're listening, that I am going to send this recording to your email. You'll get that from me, and then I will include some information about how you can get your transcript right away if you need to. I've got some resources for you to do that yourself, or that you can get help from us or from any of our volunteers to do that. And then I will just let you close us out and tell the parents how they can get signed up.
Yeah, well, Jennifer, thank you again. We greatly appreciate you helping promote early college and get the word out there about our new tuition. We're very excited about that. I'll say just a quick note for anyone who's in the Southeast who might be going to the uh, Southeast Homeschool Expo that's coming up, I think August 1st and 2nd. I will be there along with one of our recruiters at that in the exhibit hall. So please stop by and say hello. Be happy to answer any questions that you have in person there. But also, you can call, I have our office number on this slide right here, 205-348-7083, or you can send us an email at earlycollege@ua.edu, and I'll give you my personal email is chad, C-H-A-D, dot Haynie at ua.edu. Any of those, please feel free to contact us. We're happy to uh, answer any questions that you might have. So appreciate everyone's time and hope to see you all in early college. And if you want to just go ahead and apply, if you don't have any more questions, just earlycollege.ua.edu, and you'll be able to see the steps there to apply.
Well, that's it. Thank you guys. This was wonderful presentation. I'm so glad that we made this connection and that we are able to provide this resource to families. I think this is an incredible opportunity for affordable college credit. I mean, this is going to be a game changer. I hope you get lots and lots of enrollment.
Thank you very much. We
All
appreciate
right.
it.
All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week and weekend, and look for an email from me in the next couple days. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.